San Diego, California. This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans, by the fans. With Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmoe. We're talking Chargers, Aztecs, and Padres sports. It's time to let your voice be heard.
Well, it's 7 o'clock. It's Wednesday, and with heavy hearts, we are the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans.
By the fans.
I'm here, Jason Eidsmoe, here with Justin Smead and Mike Maciejewski. As you can tell, Josh is not here today. Him and Tiffany, I guess they decided instead of spending their day with us, they would go to Hawaii and get married.
Get hitched, huh? In
Yes.
Hawaii, of all places. Jesus.
Yes.
Seriously.
So,
congratulations, Josh.
Congratulations.
Congrats, bud.
We've all met Tiffany, Josh, and we're not quite sure how you did it.
Right. I can't. I don't believe it still. I think it's all fake. Until he comes back with the paper, I won't believe it.
Definitely hold on for dear life with both hands and do not let her go.
There you go.
She's a beautiful, wonderful lady, and good luck for both of you guys.
Yep.
One thing about Boss Josh being gone, I was thinking the first thing that we need to do when he gets back is we need to change that intro.
Right.
Because we have had ourselves quite a contributor on the website with all the articles and with all the shows. And I really think it's because Josh is afraid to say Maciejewski.
I think he holds back a little bit.
How difficult is that, really? Come on.
You've been saying it
It's
your whole life.
Maciejewski, exactly. Jeez.
So we do plan on changing the intro and including Mike. It's not because he is not contributing, because he is by far,
our biggest contributor on the website with articles.
Thanks, guys.
Always giving our pub out.
Yes,
so.
absolutely. So everything you do is much appreciated. Mostly it's just because we're too lazy to change it right now.
Yeah.
You couldn't have picked a bunch of lazier guys to work
Well,
with.
you know what? I don't have a social life.
That's
so.
fine. We don't either, apparently.
One thing I do want to mention is we are working with some brand new equipment here.
Yes, we're very excited.
Yeah, hopefully we sound better than we did in the past. We are still trying to get used to using it. So any mistakes made, once again, I blame Josh for not showing us how to use it.
We are still tweaking. I mean, we messed with it here 10 minutes prior, 30 minutes prior. Just getting used to the equipment's going to be key. And, eventually, guys, we're going to be taking phone calls here in a few weeks, getting it dialed in the way we want it to. And, this show's going to run smoothly, and it's just going to be better for fan experience.
Absolutely. We do welcome you guys to, of course, be tweeting along through the Spreaker app.
We also got already Darren in the chat room says we sound great.
Oh,
so
good.
He approves of the new equipment and the sound quality, so that's awesome.
I got a little secret. I'm going to put him on the spot right now. I did nail him down. Hopefully, he's still going to come in and join us.
That'd be awesome.
And talk some
Cubs baseball.
Well,
no.
Probably some Charger football.
There you go. I'd rather talk that with him than Cubs baseball.
Yeah, hopefully no Kansas City Chiefs talk.
Yeah, I guess I'm the closet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I need to come out of the closet.
So anyways, today we're going to be talking a lot of Tony Gwynn.
Of course.
I'm sure a lot of people have been hearing that on the radio and stuff, but we're gonna put our 2 cents in there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard repping SDSU
with
the MVP.
Oh, man, what a performance.
In the finals.
So exciting.
One thing that Kawhi Leonard did was he got me to watch basketball again.
So you can't help but root for the kid, though.
Yeah.
It
was nice to finally see him smile.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was possible, but it was nice. He smiled a big smile. He actually has teeth.
We're going to be talking some World Cup soccer, USA, and Clint Dempsey showed the world how to be a soccer player and not be a pussy bitch.
Right. According to your rant last week.
Exactly.
Yes, if you listened to Jason's rant last week, it was like 10 minutes of how pussy players of soccer go about their business and fake injuries and flaunting. So.
And we are going to be getting to some Charger news. There's some interesting stuff happening with the Chargers. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will come back, and we will be talking Tony Gwynn.
Do you want everyone to know how diehard you really are? Do you want to stand out in a crowd? Well, us over at San Diego Sports Junkies, we got you covered. Go to sdforlife.net and pick up your diehard gear today. From shirts and hoodies to sneakers and canvas paintings, sdforlife.net has you covered. It's time for you to be diehard. Do you want everyone to know how diehard you really are? Do you want
line at the track at the wall? Gone! Off the facing at the bottom of the upper deck, and Tony Gwynn goes deep with his first postseason home run to put San Diego out in front 4-2. That was a situation where David Wells was more concerned about Kilby O'Veris at first base. He takes a slide step and an inside fastball, and does Gwynn ever unload? Wow.
Well, that, my friends, is what Tony Gwynn has said was one of the greatest moments in his career. It kind of gives me chills remembering that and listening to that. I don't know if you were watching when it happened. I remember watching it, and the ironic thing is Tony Gwynn, of course, was not known for his power,
right.
But just watching him turn on that ball, and I thought that we had won that game after that home run.
Yeah, you saying chills. I just got chills listening to the clip. Just remembering Tony Gwynn all week, last 2 days, I should say, all the highlights. But I was 12 years old when that happened, and my grandpa we lived in Nevada, but we had it tuned in, and when he hit that ball, my grandpa, I remember, jumped up for joy, hit a home run, take the lead. What a big hit, what a big moment for Tony Gwynn. Out of all the great moments Tony's had, just to be in a World Series moment for the Padres gives me chills right now, because we don't ever talk like that around here. And you say World Series with the Padres linked, it's a big deal. It's like saying the Chargers in the Super Bowl to me. It's huge. So Tony Gwynn's going to be very missed, man.
It's really interesting because growing up, I wasn't a huge Padres fan, but I mean, I was emotional.
Yeah.
Just hearing about the news and seeing all the support on Twitter, it's been tough.
It's crazy.
It's
like San Diego lost a son.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't believe that I was moved to tears, literally, and just hearing it again, it's like, wow, my heart feels heavy.
Right.
Well, we were lucky to experience Tony Gwynn. He played 20 years, every single year in San Diego. You don't see that. You don't see that in sports.
No.
For many reasons, and a lot of people want to blame the players. It's not just the players. It's just the way it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was too bad that his career was cut short by knee injuries.
Yeah.
It would have been really nice to see him start out in Petco Park.
Right.
If I remember correctly, didn't they have? I know that his son wasn't on the Padres, but didn't his son go out there? Wasn't he with the Aztecs? And didn't he go out there, out on the field on opening day when they opened up Petco Park?
I believe he did. I couldn't tell you that for sure, but I've heard that before. It's a shame that it's 20 years though. I mean, goodness gracious, we've had the privilege. I mean, I can say one day I watched Tony Gwynn play.
Yeah.
What a hitter next to Ted Williams. The two are very much comparable. It's just crazy to me how much of the game Tony learned from Ted. I mean, just being around him talking baseball throughout his career, he had such respect for Ted Williams, and ironically, he ends up being a Ted Williams emulator, I should say. It's amazing how very alike their careers became, and you could sit here and rattle off stats, which we'll give you later, and maybe talk about some of the great ones. But
right.
But as far as just being a great human being, and that's all you hear about in the stories that come out, he was just a genuine person, let alone a Hall of Fame baseball player.
Well, Greg Maddux, I remember listening to him talk about how do you get Tony Gwynn out, and his basic philosophy was you throw it low, you throw it outside, and you settle for him getting a single off of you.
Right.
And, Tony Gwynn was known as, the king of singles, and he always, he didn't hit for a whole lot of power in his career, but I think that was a byproduct of people really realized that if you got the ball up, he was going to take it to the gap. You got the ball up and in, he was going to take it over the fence. Right. So don't do that.
Right.
And so Tony Gwynn was the type of hitter who he took what he got.
Right.
And if that meant I'm going to get 4 singles tonight, then I'll take 4 singles over a double and 3 strikeouts.
I think he was more proud to be a singles, doubles kind of guy. I mean, obviously he didn't have earlier in his career he had great speed. The latter part.
He stole like 54 bases one year.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like maybe early on he was great with the speed, but you look at what his training philosophies were. He would hit off a pitching machine going 40 to 50 miles an hour. There's a story I heard the other day. One of his teammates walked in. Why are you hitting 50 mile an hour pitches off the? He goes, and he's trying to hit it through a little hole through the screen. Sure enough, the guy that he was talking to watched him hit 3 or 4 right down the middle, right back at the pitching machine through the hole. And he explained to him. He goes, anybody can hit a fastball, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I want to get it right back up the middle. I want to put it right in the spot where I know nobody's going to get to it. Right. And that was his explanation. It was an art form to Tony Gwynn, and he really took pride in it.
Yeah, and he's one of those hitters that they're not around in Major League Baseball anymore.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
not the pure hitters like him.
No. I mean, I look around the majors right now, and I don't see anybody that's like him.
No.
And it's like a lost art, really. Mm-hmm. Seeing a hitter that takes pride in singles and doubles. Everybody's trying to hit a home run.
His plate coverage.
Yeah,
you see the swing and the miss all the time in the majors now, and it's a power game, right?
Yep.
You don't see the plate coverage. You could never throw a slider outside to Tony Gwynn, and if it was anywhere close, down in the zone, he would flick his bat, and it would pop into right field or left, or wherever he wanted to put it, like a magician would. He would do it to you.
And it's so... I mean, just people were excited to see singles from him. I mean, like I said, you have guys that hit singles, and it's like, oh, no big deal. But It was a treat to see him hit. It was like a hitting clinic.
It's like Darren said in the chat room. You don't get him out, he gets himself out.
Yeah, that's a great. Justin, by the way, is going to be monitoring the chat room today, guys. I figured if I tried to monitor, I might screw something else
up. It's okay.
Up.
You got a lot going on.
So he's going to be chiming in on what people are saying. So we do definitely welcome your participation. But what a great quote, actually. You don't get him out, he gets himself out.
It's true, though.
I don't know if that's a Darren original or if he stole that from somewhere, but we're going to go ahead and give him
Googled
credit for
that. He said great sayings of Tony Gwynn, and that came right up. Good job, Darren.
The one thing that I wish he could have gotten was an actual championship.
Yeah.
Of course, not a lot of players, they go through their career without that. And I was listening to, we've been listening to a lot of old interviews from him this week, and he really did say it was really neat to get there. The fact that he did get there, he got there in '84, which was his I think his
rookie year, or
I think it was his second year in the league. I think anybody who goes early, they don't know. They always think they're going to go to the World Series every year. I think the fact that he had that big long gap, and then he went again with a completely different team, was really, really, really special to him.
I think I agree with you. I think when you listen to Tony Gwynn throughout his career, and he talked about titles and what they mean to him, I think it was special. He wanted to be here in San Diego. They called it the Tony Gwynn discount. He could have gone anywhere he wanted at certain points. He wanted to stay here. I think if you ask Tony Gwynn, and I wouldn't kid you on this, I don't know him personally, but didn't know him personally. But I think he would have never traded 2 pennants for the San Diego Padres, and the excitement of getting there with a team that probably shouldn't have been there. I don't think he would trade that for anything in the world. I think he was excited about doing it with the San Diego Padres and bringing the city. In '98, you couldn't compare that stadium in those playoff games to any other atmosphere ever. I swear to God. I mean, I wasn't there, but I saw how crazy it was there.
Yeah.
People talk about it to this day. I've seen the Q rocking for football games, but that had to be pure elation when they knew they were going to the World Series.
Yeah, and that carried over enough, and that actually is one of the reasons why we got a new stadium here.
Right. He was the reason. He was one of the big reasons.
Yeah, and I like what you said there, Justin, because I always admired that he didn't leave.
Yeah.
I mean, he really could have left anywhere.
Like you said, it's rare.
Yeah, and he would have been a star. And I said this on Twitter earlier. He could have been a star, but the fact that he stayed in San Diego made him a legend.
Yeah.
You know, he's a legend here because he stayed.
What's the point of going to the Yankees and batting 6th for him or 5th? And, you chase down the world title.
Let's be honest, he's probably still going to bat 2nd for the Yankees.
Yeah, no, but you're right. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they had so many primo hitters. You can go get to a stacked team. That's fine.
Right.
But is it the allure of doing it with a team that probably shouldn't be as good as they should be in a city where you just love? That had to be so special to Tony Gwynn.
I say the same thing as a fan. When the Chargers do win that Super Bowl, and they will, it will be so much more
Amen,
sweet
brother.
for those of us who have gone through all the other years. It will be, as a fan. What's funny is when they do win it, probably this year.
I hope so.
Right.
We will have suffered longer than the actual players that are on the team that go. We will have.
Fans suffer the most.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh yeah.
So I've suffered for a long time. The thing about Tony Gwynn that I always thought that he was going to eventually. Now I mentioned this to somebody else and at work, and he told me he thought I was dead wrong. And I probably was, but I always assumed that Tony Gwynn was going to coach baseball at San Diego State for maybe 3, 4, 5 more years.
Ended up what?
And then he was going to be the hitting coach for the Padres. That just, for some reason, just seemed like he was just never going to leave. That's just what he was going to do next. And, I think that for our park, I think his approach is exactly what the Padres hitters need. They need to understand that, whether it was the first pitch of the at-bat or 0-2 or 3-2, his approach was exactly the same.
Exactly.
You
especially
have guys
in a ballpark like that.
Oh, you shorten your swing, you got 2 strikes. Tony Gwynn's 2-strike swing was the same as his no-strike swing, his 1-strike swing, his 3-ball swing.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jason, because 2-strike counts in Tony Gwynn's career. He batted over 300 for his lifetime, and like the paper says here in front of me, I did some notes. They didn't even start keeping track of that till 1988. But just to hit 302 for a career with 2 strikes on you tells you a little bit of something about the hitter.
It tells me he had him right where he wanted him.
Of course. You got 2 strikes, bro? Okay, I'm going to flick it right over here.
Right.
One thing we were talking about pre-show was, chicks dig the long ball. Everybody knows chicks dig the long ball. Everybody takes the big swings. Everybody's trying to, everybody's out for that big contract. Everybody's out for those big stats. Everybody out there is swinging and missing right now. Especially on the Padres. Tony Gwynn did not swing and miss.
No. He always made contact.
Tim Kirchin was saying, I was listening to him, he was saying, he swung and missed on an average of 3 times per week. And
what was your...
Adam Dunn swings and misses on an average of 4 times per game.
Right.
We're not talking about strikeouts. We're talking about just swinging and miss. If he decided that ball was a strike, he was going to make contact with it.
Yeah, it was his for the taking. It's just, for me, the loss of a guy like this, guys. I mean, a legend in the city, and especially at 54 years of age. I mean, we can all sit here and pick your favorite Tony moment, but not having him around, just San Diego State baseball, the Padres. I loved him announcing. I thought he was a great announcer. I thought he had great insight for the ball game when he was with Mark and Dick Enberg and whoever he was filling in for that week. He did a great job. Unfortunately, the cancer made it to where visually you didn't really want to look at Tony anymore, and you felt so bad because he's disfigured. But it's just, for me, overall, the quality of the person's what's going to be lost here in San Diego.
The one thing that everybody is forgetting, and I'm sure people are mentioning it, is we all lost one of the greatest Padres at all, but we got to remember that somebody lost their husband.
Yeah.
Some people lost their father.
Mm-hmm.
Some grandchildren lost their grandfather.
Right.
And at 54 years old, he had so much more to do.
Of course.
He had so much more to give to them, and they had so much more to get from him, and that's never going to happen now. And it's just such a bummer.
F-U cancer.
Yeah.
F-U cancer. I mean, that's it. You know, it's a deadly thing, and it will take your life eventually.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, like, it was so sad to see him go through it, you know, to see him struggle, because it wasn't the Tony you remember growing up, you know. And
he pushed through it, though, man. He was he didn't want to say no for anything. Yeah. Showing up for events and, you know, I guess, you know, even 2 months prior to that, to him dying, he was at a kids venue, you know, just working with kids, saying congrats to him. They had done something or a function. He showed up there. I mean, it's remarkable what the guy went through, and still was able to do certain things like and give him back to the community, and still being there to pat a kid on the back and say good job. And that's the kind of man he was. It truly was.
Now, we know that for the last, you know, month or two, he was really, really out of the spotlight. I know that he had signed a contract extension last week. I wonder if that was just
out of spite, maybe, or out of maybe respect. Yeah.
But I think we all just assumed that he was just concentrating on getting better. Yeah. And when I heard that he died, I wasn't shocked just because he'd been out of the spotlight. But I was shocked at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
You know, it's crazy. I felt like somebody punched me in the gut because I was in a truck. You know, I was driving, and I heard this on the radio, and they go, you know, breaking news. You know, this is sorry to report. You know, Tony Gwynn has passed away, and I'm just like, I had to pull over.
Yeah,
I did. And I genuinely pulled over.
Wow.
I was like, wow, dude, Tony Gwynn is dead. Like, Tony Gwynn, the guy I grew up watching, my favorite Padre ever, is gone. And like equivalent to Junior, we all watched Junior Seau play for many years, and we loved the pump fists. And it's like, this is your hometown. These are the guys you grew up watching. I mean, this means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it is serious. I mean, and I can see why people are taking it so hard. You see people interviewing and crying, and the memorial is covered in just memorabilia and awesome things. Just great gestures by the fans and the city of San Diego. It really shows the character of the city of San Diego. Darren has something to say in here in the chat room. We get lots of people trying to blame dip. Cancer doesn't give a shit if you're young, old, fat, skinny podcast host or Tony Gwynn. Michael, well said, Darren. That's awesome. It doesn't. You know, cancer sucks, man, and we all know that. If anybody hears the word cancer in and around a family member, it's shocking to everybody, and it's really demoralizing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think it was more meaningful for me also was because he was an Aztec.
Yeah.
You know, and people forget, you know, how great, you know, he's assist leader in Aztec basketball. Still to this day. And, I mean, people forget
how drafted by the Clippers.
Yeah. We forget how great of an athlete he was. And like I said, it's kind of like you said, he's part of the Aztec family, and it's hard to see him go. And, you know, just like I said, just one of those things.
It's tough for anybody in San Diego right now.
You know, one thing that Darren said at the beginning of that is lots of people want to blame dip, and you know, just like anything, you know, you can blame dip if you want, but Tony Gwynn was an adult.
Yeah, he made his own
choices,
decisions.
His own choices, and just because you decide to smoke or chew or dip tobacco, you're not guaranteeing you're going to get cancer. All you're doing is changing odds.
You know,
not doing any of that stuff is not going to guarantee that you're not going to get cancer. Right. Well, it just changes the odds. But, you know, you can't go living your life.
What if? Because if you do that, you'll never do a damn thing in your life.
Exactly.
And I think people that are just blaming it are just, you know, it's their way of grieving. You're looking for a reason. You're looking for answers.
True. Yeah. That's
true. I mean, I don't get mad at them for, you know, blaming it. It's however people grieve.
Do you know how big a staple dip is in the major leagues?
Oh, yeah,
you know, and yes, Tony Gwynn, reason or not, if he did pass, we don't know for sure even.
You don't even know if that's it.
No, and, you know, such a staple in baseball. Can of chew in the back pocket. You see it all the time. Big old chaw in the lip, which is fine. All right, go ahead, dude. If that's what you like to do, and big fat spit out before you go to the plate. I want you to hit a home run, dude. Let's go. You know, I don't care what you're chewing. That's your choice, and I'm never gonna go blaming Tony Gwynn. Oh, you should have quit dipping. Why? He's a ball player. Ball players dip, and that's just the culture of the game. Just like steroids were a culture of the game for so long too.
I know a few people who dip, and when they don't dip, they're absolutely fucking miserable. So maybe, you know, he only lived 54 years, and maybe the dip is what caused it.
Maybe he was the happiest camper in the world. Maybe he kept that smile on
maybe
his
he
face.
lived a maybe it's better than living an extra 10 years being miserable.
I would agree with you.
I know we have you've probably been listening to a lot of stats here, but you came across quite a few really, really interesting stats. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of John Smoltz. He's a pretty good pitcher, I heard.
Oh, stop. I think 5 of the guys on there are pretty good.
John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, Oral Hershiser, and Nolan Ryan. That'd probably be the best starting 5 of any team ever in history.
Yeah.
What were their What was his stats against these guys there?
Well,
Justin?
Okay. You go with the Braves era where they're winning pennants back to back. I mean, consecutive years. When you had the big 3, Smoltz, Madden, Glavix. Smoltz, he only batted .462 against Smoltz' career, and he played in the NL. Averaged, he had 1 K against the guy. He struck out one time.
He was able to strike him out. Well done.
One time.
Well done, Smoltz.
Then you move on to Greg Maddux, which Greg Maddux had called Tony Gwynn probably, if not one of the hardest hitters to get out in all of Major League Baseball.
For the record, Greg Maddux in his prime, probably one of the best pitchers I've ever watched.
Just a magician on the mound. He was crazy. Made the ball move, dance, put it where he wanted. Batted .429 against Greg Maddux. That is unstupid, believable, crazy.
Maddux had to at least K it more than Smoltz, though.
No, actually never struck out Tony Gwynn in his illustrious career.
Wow.
That is so stupid. We played in the NL.
Right.
They're playing all the time.
Yes.
You would have thought one time Greg Maddux would have got the better upper hand on him.
Nope.
He might have made him ground out a couple times.
Yeah.
I didn't get those stats.
Yeah.
He never struck him out. Tommy Glavine, the Wizard, another guy on that great staff they had, batted .312. Had a tougher time against Tommy Glavine.
Yeah. Glavine owned him.
According to the K's, he struck him out twice, man.
Now, I don't know if anybody else remembers this. Tom Glavine had pinpoint control.
Yes.
Tom Glavine also got about 6 inches outside the strike zone for quite a few years, called strikes. When the Braves were in their heyday, they got the benefit of the doubt on a lot.
Because that's what they did. When you have that kind of reputation as a pitching staff, they were remarkable. Another guy, never heard of Oral Hershiser ever. Yeah. Only batted .321 against him, and Oral got the better of him with 2 Ks. Just 2. Now, the guy that Tony called the toughest matchup in his career, Nolan Ryan. Illustrious career. We all know what Nolan Ryan did. How many no-hitters, couple perfect games.
Quite a few strikeouts.
It's retarded, yeah. Tony only batted against one of the greatest pitchers ever to play, Nolan Ryan, .302 with 9 Ks. Nolan got the better part of that guy.
Nolan Ryan almost got a season worth of Ks.
Yes, sir. What a crazy stat line for those 5 pitchers. And I just kind of grabbed a few that I'd seen online that were popping out at me. So those are the 5 I chose, but just notable in the sense. So
yeah, that's Tony Gwynn had 9 5-hit career games. Only one less than Pete Rose. 9.
Isn't that crazy?
He had 45 games with 4 hits.
Isn't that stupid? He had 45 games with 4 hits.
Unbelievable. In 1995, Tony Gwynn struck out 15 times for the season. Not for any month, not for any week.
535 plate appearances.
15 strikeouts.
That's stupid.
You know what that is? That's a week for a lot of guys. Yeah. That's a week for just about any Padre right now.
Right. It's ridiculous, man. 11 times in Gwynn's career he managed not to strike out in 20 consecutive games. Yeah. Isn't that stupid?
That's crazy. You know what the biggest one for me is that he never wore the golden sombrero. Never went 0 for 4 with 4 Ks.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. I think he only struck out 3 times once, didn't he?
Yeah, he struck out once 3 times to Bob Welch, who passed away a week before he did.
Yeah.
And guys nowadays, everybody goes over 4 with 4 Ks once in a while.
Right.
Not Tony Gwynn.
And isn't that ironic? The only time he ever had striking out 3 times was Bob Welch, and Bob Welch passed a week ago.
Yeah.
Darren was commenting about what I was saying about John Smoltz and about Tom Glavine, and he is actually right. He says all the Braves got quite a wide strike zone.
Okay, yeah.
Back in those days, and then also if anybody else cares, in memory of Tony Gwynn, Darren's dropped a dip in.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
That's what he's done.
Hashtag fuck it. Yeah, I think we're gonna kind of get out of the Tony segment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a downing situation. We wanted to definitely pay our respects.
Yeah. Can we jump into this last stat that you have there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony Gwynn had a career average of 338. For his average to dip below 300, he would have had to go hitless 1,183 times in a row, which is about an equivalent of 2 seasons. That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is stupid crazy.
Yeah. Didn't Chase Headley do that this season?
Well, he's definitely not hitting 300.
Yeah, but didn't he go over 1,300?
I'm sure.
Whatever?
Yeah.
No. It is
unbelievable
crazy.
career.
And I'm pretty sure he's wore the golden sombrero several times
yes.
this season. So, guys, thank you for kind of going down memory lane with Tony Gwynn. We definitely appreciate some of the comments Darren's having in there. Oh, anybody else listening maybe want to chime in. But yeah, just wanted to hit on Tony's some of his great stats and what a good guy he was. We're gonna take a quick break here and we're gonna come back with some. What are we doing next?
We're talking Kawhi Leonard, MVP.
Okay. A little Spurs basketball.
Yeah.
Do you want everyone to know how diehard you really are? Do you want to stand out in a crowd? Well, us over at San Diego Sports Junkies, we got you covered. Go to sdforlife.net and pick up your diehard gear today. From shirts and hoodies to sneakers and canvas paintings, sdforlife.net has you covered. It's time for you to be diehard. Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Welcome back, Junkies. We wanted to hit on the website real quick. We just wanted to make sure you guys know where to go, www.sandiegosportsjunkies.com. We need you guys to participate. This is a show for fans.
By the fans.
Exactly. So we want all participation in blogs. You sign up is free. Forums. We have forum nights all the time. We announce them on Twitter. You get in the forums. Talk some junk about your favorite team, the Padres. You can tell us how much they suck. We don't care. We say the same thing. So. We really want to get it out there.
We're running out of ways to say they suck.
It's hard to even have a show about them anymore. On Twitter, I'm at BoltsPride21. Mikey, you're at what?
Mike SD82.
I can't remember that yet. And we're at Jason's at LB Host. He's not a ghost anymore.
No.
LB Host is actually reactivated his Twitter account and is not so much of a ghost anymore, and he's actually participating in chat. So that's a good thing. But yes, we wanted to touch out to you guys and say, hey, don't be a stranger. Get on the chats, forums, write a blog. If you have any Tony memories, get on there. Give us a little story. You're more than welcome. It's free, like I said. That's what we want you guys to do. It's a show for fans by the fans. So get out there, let your voice be heard, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about Kawhi Leonard now.
Any interesting article people write, we're going to put it up. And if it's really good, we'll spend a whole segment talking about it like we did last week.
Of course.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, though. Let's jump to that, right?
Well, let's get into Kawhi Leonard. You got Finals MVP of the finals here, and it beat the Miami Heat in convincing fashion, 4-1, right?
Right.
And it didn't even look close.
No.
Game 5, I believe, got off to a rough start for the Spurs, and then they stormed back, and they never looked back.
They were down like 20-5 or 15-5.
It was 22-5.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was kind of scratching my head. I go, okay, here's the Heat. Here's the Heat, and this is why they're in the finals.
Right.
And sure enough, Spurs come back in a big fashion, tie the ball game, and I think it was on the Kawhi Leonard 3 where they're on the fast break. He hit a 3 top of the key, drained a bucket, and I go, uh-oh. Kawhi's heating up, and Timmy Duncan was putting some buckets in too. You knew you were in for a barn burner at that point.
A couple things. First of all, like I had said at the beginning, Kawhi Leonard actually got me to watch a basketball game again.
It's awesome.
Because I hadn't been watching.
It's hard.
It had been difficult, and it hadn't been as interesting to me as it used to be back when I was a lot younger.
Right.
It's really neat to see him be really aggressive. He wasn't just a cog. He was
a staple,
a main reason why they were playing well. And when I was watching them come back as little as I'm not like the LeBron hater that everybody else is. I'm just not a fan of his just because I'm not a Heat fan. But I felt sorry for them.
Yeah.
I was watching it just crumble.
Didn't they look old?
Them.
They look old to you?
They just look.
They look old to me.
Dwayne Wade looked old.
Dwayne Wade looked. Yeah.
Well, okay, sorry. LeBron James not so much, but a couple of their players.
I actually thought Bosch. I would rather if you could only keep two of those big three, I would keep Bosch and I would keep LeBron and I would let Wade go. I thought.
Well,
Bosch
Wade's
played,
been there forever,
I thought Bosch played well too, but
then it
made me feel sorry for them. Just watching everything, you just watch them go back and that defeated look when there's just not a.
That's how you knew it was over.
No,
what are you supposed to do?
Yeah,
and.
Well, I was going to touch on your point. I remember last year, when they were so close, stupid Ray Allen and stupid threes.
How old is that guy? Like 67 years old?
Something.
Ray Allen?
But I remember seeing them, and I remember, Manu was playing terrible. Timmy was playing, good. Parker was doing well. But I remember seeing flashes of Kawhi. I mean, he started, putting the team on his shoulders. And the first two games of this series, he didn't do that. And once he did... they came back, and I think that is the key that you need to remember in his growth is when he wants to put that team on his shoulders, he can.
Right.
And that's going to be exciting to see. He's going to turn to a superstar.
There was a point in time where Popovich told him to be more aggressive. Yeah. And he was playing a little tentative because that's how the offense ran.
Right.
But he knew what Kawhi could do, and he said, you know what, this is going to be a big key here. I want you to go to the rack. I want you to be the focal point in this series because they're not going to get you. I mean, he's gonna play good solid D on LeBron at the other end. You can take LeBron to the rack. You're not going to always score on him, but he did his damnedest to get to the rack, and he got to the line like Popovich wanted him to do, and that's the ultimate reason they won with the contributions of their whole team. When you got a Tony Parker, you got guys that can play. Diago Splitter in the middle. I mean, these guys are ridiculous. They're just team ball players, and it kind of gets you back to the Aztec days with Steve Fisher. It really reminds me of that.
Yeah. And I think that's why he's going to be a big star in this league because when he wants to, he can take over this game, on both ends of the court.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys saw Kevin Durant on Twitter. Justin, Did you see him?
I don't think I follow him. I'm not a biggest NBA guy.
Well, Xavier Thames and a couple of the Aztecs retweeted him. He was blasting Kawhi. He was saying that Kawhi was a system player.
Somebody's jealous, huh?
Talk about salty.
Somebody's jealous.
Talk about salty. I mean, I watched that Thunder series, and he was covering Durant first couple games, and then Westbrook went off, and they said, you know what? We're gonna put Kawhi on Westbrook.
I think some players shouldn't have Twitter accounts.
So I mean,
Kevin Durant, you can't really argue. He's one of the best players in the freaking world.
You can still argue with him, though.
Yeah. Well, you can, and his point isn't valid. He's a system player. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That he scores 22 points a game, 10 rebounds, and he's everything all world on the court? I don't get it.
One thing that Kawhi Leonard does is he plays both ways.
Yeah.
And playing defense is just as important as playing
For some
offense.
players, it's an option.
Yes.
And it's not an option for Kawhi. He just does.
And what a great advertisement for San Diego State.
That's what we wanted. Yes. I definitely would have hit on that. What were you kind of naming off some of the pride, the civic pride, Aztec pride you have? Right. That's why I was so interested in the finals. I'm not a giant Spurs fan by any means. Now, do I focus on the Spurs during the season? Yes, I want to see what Kawhi Leonard did.
Oh, yeah.
Just like I hope Xavier Thames and Jamal Franklin get to that point where I can go, that's X Thames, and that's what I saw him do at San Diego State.
Yeah.
It allows San Diego State to breathe and go, I think we've made this. I mean, look at the role San Diego State is on. Two of the last 5 years, Sweet 16 appearances. 7, I think, appearances in a row. 6 in a row.
Maybe 7.
Steve Fisher's led this team to the NCAA postseason. And the recruiting just shot up. Last year was remarkable recruiting. Right. This class coming in. So, yes, the momentum is clearly, and they're picked again early projections to be the favorite in the Mountain West again. Maybe a 5 to 4 seed in the tournament. I mean, it's ridiculous what this program's grown into.
Yeah, and I think the Aztecs needed that.
Yeah.
Michael Cage before Kawhi was the biggest name, but that's long before this generation of Aztec fan. Yeah. And, it's really tough when
20 people were in the stands.
Right.
Yeah.
but it's also, and it was actually played at the sports arena, I believe,
right,
when they were playing. But it's tough when you have other fans telling you, well, you have no one in the NBA, you guys have no championship. It's tough as a fan.
Well, now we have those bragging rights.
Now we have, people go, oh, well, this guy got drafted here. Oh, you know what? Kawhi Leonard, MVP.
Right.
Talk to me later.
Well, if anybody has an argument, and it's usually an UNLV fan, just ask him about Anthony Bennett.
Now, now, with all that being said, is it possible to do that with San Diego State football? Because as fun as it is, and as great as it is to watch San Diego State basketball play great and to watch them fill up that arena, football drives. Football is where the money is.
Yeah.
Football is where it's at. And I think that if the sports director or whatever at San Diego State had to choose which team was championship caliber, he would choose football.
Of course, because it's got the big TV money.
Exactly.
It's got the revenue.
Basketball is only popular for 1 month.
Yeah.
College basketball, really, with the casual fan.
Right.
I would say you're correct. I think for an administrator, maybe a AD, Jim Sturck at San Diego State, I think over the last 10 years he's seen revenue grow because of attendance.
Right.
Maybe not the TV money. Like you're saying, big money, but I think for all support and athletic support,
he will definitely take what they have.
Yeah, exactly. But as we're going along here, I fully believe they can get to, I don't know if a national prominence with football, but I think they can be in the conversation for a BCS game. Why not? Boise State did it.
Right.
There's no way it's not it can't happen.
And
they're on the right track. Bowl game after bowl game after bowl game. But their recruits are stepping up too.
And I don't know if you guys have been following the recruiting there, but this year we have 2 3-star and 2 4-star walk-on, transfers.
Right.
One's actually a walk-on, and that's pretty amazing. I mean, they're taking that same formula that San Diego State basketball used, getting transfers to build your program.
Right.
And they're moving in the right direction.
Guys that have experience.
Yeah, and guys that know
what to do.
Back. I mean, they're literally
immediate impact guys.
Yeah, and they're literally telling guys who want to transfer, no, we don't have room for you. I mean, they have a 3-star from Arizona who started last year as a freshman, and he's walking on to San Diego State this year.
And he chose San Diego State over probably a few other colleges.
Right. And
so that's what you're saying. I mean, you're saying, what's your first choice when you're a recruit? I mean, especially for football. We know how the needle moves for football. I love football.
Right.
And I watch all the Aztec games. Everything. Football, basketball.
Yeah, likewise.
But yes, it's going to be fun in the next couple of years. Some of these guys you're talking about, if they're big names, dude, bring it on. Yeah. I want to see what I miss is a great quarterback. Ryan Lindley was very, very good, and I miss the big arm and Vincent Brown. I think it was Sanford on the other side of him during when Brown was there. Samson. Sorry, Sandifer. Sandifer?
No, DeMarco Sampson.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's okay.
Just lost track of his name, but yeah, the Ronnie Hillmans, and those were exciting players, and they still are. But you got to keep replenishing. Right. You can't have a couple good years and go, well, we made a run.
Yes.
Because you will fall right back into the rut, and you will never get yourself out again because it's taken years to even get to this point.
And San Diego State is primarily a basketball school, but
now it is.
Now it is. But like I said, I see football coming along.
Right.
Very excited for 2015 when we get that quarterback Jake Rodriguez that transferred from Oregon, former 4-star.
Yep.
I'm excited to see him.
Yes.
And that'll be next year.
Next year.
He won't be in here this season.
No, not this year. And then
We're still got Quinn Kaler.
Yes, and we still have that awesome recruiting class that we had last year. And they finally finished their redshirt season last season, and
we'll see the fruits of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Too. So there's a lot of exciting stuff.
Yes.
And like I said, they're following that same formula that the basketball team getting good transfers.
Back to his original question. What does that do for the program? It just skyrockets. What we were touching on earlier. All this just brings prominence to San Diego State. When you hear on national TV, big-time announcer saying, Kawhi Leonard's from San Diego State. He was coached by Steve Fisher.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You've just done us a huge favor in recruiting. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, I chose all the cool schools that I heard on TV, on ESPN.
Yeah.
Yes.
To apply to. I was like, you know what? Marshall's kind of cool because
yeah.
Randy Moss
Look at
went
that
there.
fan base there.
Yeah.
Like Oregon, they're jumping up, and I want to go there.
Yeah.
Look at all the chicks.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's partially just because this is the type of player that Kawhi is, but he really, when he comes and you watch him play, you look at that and you think that he's because of, people think, oh, well, Steve Fisher is the one who did that to him. Now, part of it possibly, but part of it is that's the way Kawhi Leonard is, but it makes, parents of these kids look at him and go, he came out of a program where they teach him fundamentals. They got him to play two-way basketball.
Team basketball.
They got him to be a complete player. I want my kid to go there.
When you're Steve Fisher and you can go into a living room and you can say, Kawhi Leonard was a 2-year player, just like your son, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure he's a good kid. He's gonna play hard in basketball. He's gonna get his academics, up, and he can be in the NBA. You can tell these parents now with conviction.
Right.
And now you have stuff to back that up. It's great, man. It's only gonna take off, and well, I'm glad we've had him there.
And you can tell recruits too. I think he was 6'4" when he got here, and he played power forward.
Yeah.
And he's saying, you know what? We're not going to pigeonhole you. We're going to let you do what you
be free on the basketball court. Yeah.
On the court,
and that's what Steve Fisher does the best.
Exactly.
Allows his players to be themselves.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some USA World Cup soccer.
USA. USA. USA.
Do you want everyone to know how diehard you really are? Do you want to stand out in a crowd? Well, us over at San Diego Sports Junkies, we got you covered. Go to sdforlife.net and pick up your diehard gear today. From shirts and hoodies to sneakers and canvas painting, sdforlife.net has you covered. It's time for you to be diehard.
All right, we are back, and I got on here when we got our new equipment. I gave it a try. I did a little bit of a 10-minute talk on World Cup soccer. I don't talk soccer that much. I wouldn't consider myself a soccer fan, but I'll tell you what. Once every 4 years, I become a huge soccer fan.
I know. I saw you in here with your freaking cape on. Yeah. United States, your boxers are showing. I'm like, dude, not in front of the children.
I watch every game. I don't just watch the U.S. games. I watch all of them. And for some reason, it's so intriguing to me. And, I invite you to listen to my 10-minute spiel on World Cup soccer.
It's great.
It's more like a rant.
And it's great.
Yeah. You should have put rant on there as the title.
No, it is great. It's probably the best 10 minutes of sports talk in the history of the world.
Oh. Well,
I don't want to undersell it. I don't want to undersell it.
We are pubbing this up. Best in the world, eh?
It was interesting. I don't want to call it a rant because I wasn't yelling and screaming. I stayed pretty calm when I said it.
I was very impressed with your composure.
But
probably took a Xanax before you did it. Hey.
USA, Ghana, we got a little bit of revenge.
Yes.
Ghana had knocked us out the last 2 times. One of the amazing things is I'm going to assume that my boss doesn't listen to this. I watch it at work if I can.
Right.
And before I even had a chance to load it, the guy in the cubicle next to me is cheering because Dempsey had scored. I hadn't even got it to load yet, and Dempsey had scored. You're not used to scores in soccer for usually the first 15 minutes is like the first round of a
bad date.
Of a boxing match.
Speed dating.
They're just feeling each other out,
I like horses. I don't. Okay, next table.
Or maybe the first 50 minutes of a good date when you're just feeling each other out.
How funny.
But it was amazing. But I actually got to come home and watch the game, and the thing that concerned me was the play of the midfield. Ghana controlled the ball. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be screaming, well, if Landon Donovan was there, he's a midfielder.
That's all you heard.
We need to stop that. He's not there.
Yeah.
So just stop that. stop saying we would have won with him. Stop saying this, that. Our midfielders need to play better. They need to control the ball better.
Yeah, Michael Bradley played horrible. He played like shit, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
This is the most important player on our team. He's an excellent passer. He's great field awareness. And I saw him miss crosses to open guys that
What's your opinion on that? Do you think he's too big of a stage right now?
No, not at all. He played.
He just had a bad game.
Yeah, he just had a bad game.
Okay.
And if we can pull a 2-1 win with our best, most crucial player playing
like
horribly, things look good for us.
And losing one of our big scoring.
Yeah.
The Altidore. I was listening to Ziegler today on the radio, and he thinks he's done. He thinks he's done for the whole tournament. Of course, they're not going to say that yet.
Right.
But
doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about us being able to score.
And for fans asking for Landon Donovan, you can't bring anybody in at this point. The rosters are set.
Well, you can't replace the injured guy.
No, you can't.
You can't?
No, not at all.
No, you can't
That's
bring
it.
him
The
in.
rosters are locked before the game.
Even Donovan said that in an interview.
Yeah, that's why you take 23.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good because I don't
then
want
that
to
just alleviates the whole
we don't
situation.
Have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like I said, we got the win. It wasn't pretty. It was terrible. I mean, the Dempsey goal was a great play by him. After that, he really didn't do much.
Nobody did much after that.
And, I mean, the U.S. is great on set pieces, and it worked.
Yes.
And John Brooks came in, who, if I'm sure you've already heard, could actually have played for Germany because he wasn't officially cap-tied to the United States, meaning that he still could have chosen to play for another country that he's a citizen of.
Right.
And he came in, scored a huge goal, and we held down for the win. So now we're in second place behind Germany.
How awesome is it that a sub that came in scored the goal that was kicked from the corner by a sub that came
That's
in.
so funny.
Yeah. Sub to goal. I was very deflated when they gave up the late goal and it went to 1-1 because besides that first 30 seconds, we really hadn't done anything that showed that we were going to score.
And you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
They just kept attacking.
Exactly.
They just kept attacking.
That was the point I was going to make. I don't like you, Jay. I'm not a huge soccer guy, but I will take I will be a participant in watching the game.
Yeah.
I did watch the game. I thought the first 30 seconds were amazing. And then I'm like, what's going on now? Yes, in the chat room, I think soccer is for women. But I will, like I said, I watch. I think it's exciting. I think these guys play hard. You can see that. They are the best actors I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a great point.
At the end of the game, him scoring that goal, Mr. Brooks, I believe.
Yes.
What an intense moment that was. You could just see them like flexing their. It was like the weight of the world was lifted.
Yes.
And you knew there wasn't much time left on the clock.
Right.
And you probably weren't going to see Ghana get down there and get in position to even score because it looked like USA was doing a pretty good job on their side at that point.
Yeah, and I watched the game at a bar. And by the way,
were you drinking?
Of course.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I'm not working for 6 more weeks. So, yeah.
Nice.
I didn't know you worked.
Yeah, no.
Just on our website.
Right. I get paid per letter.
Let's
volunteer work.
You know what? I'm going to double his pay right now.
Hey, even the NFL is a non-profit organization. They are.
Yeah.
That's what they're considered.
But,
Go FIFA.
Yeah.
With $1 billion in the bank.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I was at the bar and it was packed. I mean, I had to go to 2 different bars before I got to find a spot. I mean, and I was like, I was an hour 15 minutes before the game. And
You sure you weren't in Brazil?
So I'm positive.
Holy cow.
And so I got there and I found luckily some older folks saw the rowdy crowd and they left and I took their spot at the bar.
Oh, way to go. Swooping on old people.
That's right.
Nice.
And I mean, when I left, my voice was, my throat hurt. My ears were pounding from the people screaming and cheering.
Wow.
It was amazing. You guys have to go. If you're watching the game at home by yourself, go out to a bar.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll see. I mean, you'll
That'd
see people
probably be like
crazy.
watching the Super Bowl alone.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. It is exciting watching it with a crowd. Like I said, I had to watch the beginning at work, and of course, your work takes priority, so I'm only catching little pieces of it. And then I rushed home, and I got to really watch. I actually watched it with my youngest daughter, and it's funny because she doesn't like soccer, but she's sitting there watching me, and she's cheering right along with me when they scored.
That's cool. See, I take pride in like watching other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see the reaction. I don't take that big an interest in it, but when World Cup comes around, I take some notice. I'm a sports guy. I love to watch.
Right.
But to see everybody else get so elated, like at work, we have some other orientations of people, backgrounds, and they love soccer, and it's great to see them jumping around, high-fiving, and speaking languages I can't, understand, which is fine.
Right.
But they just seem very, very elated, and it's like, wow, they take pride in this stuff. They really do.
So now the next step is Sunday.
Yes.
The U.S. plays against Portugal.
Yes.
Portugal is in a bad spot right now. They got destroyed.
Portugal.
By Germany. Final score was 4-0.
Germany's many people's pick to win the whole thing.
That's my pick to win the whole
thing. My pick, too.
Yeah. And so they got destroyed. Ronaldo still has a bad knee. Their central defender, Pepe, got a red card. So he's going to miss the game.
That's right.
Who?
Two of their other defenders injured.
He headbutted that guy.
Yeah, he headbutted Mueller, and he's out for that game. Two more defenders. One's for sure out. The other one for the whole World Cup. The other one probably out for our game.
Right.
So we're talking the U.S. If we can attack these three new defenders, for Portugal, we have a good shot of at least getting a tie, if not a win.
Yeah, we don't want to have a good shot at getting a tie. We want to win this thing and move out of this stage. There's, people call our group the group of death and all this blah 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 blah. The bottom line is that I'm kind of reading the chat room. Right now. Darren's laughing at Justin, laughing at how he's tiptoeing around being racist. That was pretty funny. The bottom line is, if you don't come to this thing to get out of your group, you come to it to win it.
Right.
And I don't care what other three teams they put in your group. If you can't get out of that group, then you weren't going to win the damn thing anyways.
Right.
So stop crying about the group we're in. If I would rather 4 hard teams be in our group, because if we get out of it, that means 2 of those hard teams are already gone.
Right.
And we don't have to face them anymore.
And it's a good shot right now. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity.
They are right where they want to be.
Yeah. Anybody, you guys want to make a prediction on the score for Sunday?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'm going to say 3-1 USA. 3-1. I think
that's what I was going to say.
I think Portugal will get 1 goal. Maybe Ronaldo will score 1.
Yeah.
But that defense is very suspect. Portugal looked very deflated, so if we can score early, I think we got them on the ropes.
I had actually predicted 3-1 against Ghana, and I was a little bit disappointed with the way our midfield played, and I don't know what the percentages were, but I know Ghana controlled the ball much longer than we did.
I think it was 62-38, I believe.
Really? I thought it was even worse than that.
Yeah.
Just the eye test told me it was worse than that.
Right.
I am going to say USA 1-0.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go with an exciting barn burning score, 0-0. I am. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I think they exerted a lot of energy this last game against Ghana to redeem themselves. The past 2 meetings they had lost to them. They really, really felt like the weight was lifted off them. You could tell how excited they were. I think that might have drained them a little bit. I think they come out with some effort, but I think it's more on the defensive side. Nobody scores, and I think they get through and they'll be fine.
Now, Darren in the chat room asks, will they advance with a win? A win gives them 6 points with 1 game to go. I believe they're guaranteed.
Yeah.
Out. If with a win, guarantees them.
If they win,
even a tie guarantees them.
No, not a tie.
No.
If they win and Germany beats Ghana like as expected, then they're guaranteed. They've already qualified for the next round.
When does Germany play Ghana?
The same day, I believe. Sunday as well.
Okay.
So a win certainly puts them in the driver's seat, but
Right.
And a win, I guess, depending on the Germany game, but they win this game. You're going to get the Jason Eismo guarantee right now.
Or as the guy said last night, Edsmo.
Yes. Or it's, the guy,
the principal announcing your daughter for graduation.
Exactly. Yeah. Congratulations to Jordan, by the way. She graduated from high school yesterday. 1 down, 1 to go.
Yeah. Got a while with that one.
Yeah. I'm going to give you my personal guarantee that if they win this game, they're getting out of their group.
Yeah.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. Agreed.
And like we have said, they're exactly where they want to be. They're right in the driver's seat. They beat Ghana. They don't have any. There's no excuses. There's no excuses why not to get out of here.
Right.
They're playing. They got the team right when they want to play them. So
exactly.
So we're going to take a quick 30-second break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit of Charger news.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging. From business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Welcome back, Sports Junkies. Now we're going to turn our attention to Chargers Park and some big news coming out. Brandon Flowers, who we talked about during our test, Justin.
Yes.
He is visiting today.
Right.
Looking possibly to sign with the Chargers.
Yes.
There was a bunch of teams interested,
mm-hmm.
but he scheduled one visit, and that is to the Chargers.
Well, and that's the first visit. It's always the most important visit. I think when teams call you and you're the first on the list, that's a pretty good sign. I mean, it doesn't mean anything yet. You gotta figure cap room, and I think what Brandon Flowers commands is a $10 million contract. So recently he just re-upped. So I think for the Chargers to really make a run, they're kind of going to have to sell the Phillip Rivers factor and the veteran leadership of this team and where it's headed, and basically the city of San Diego. Hey, you can come play here in a beautiful city. We'll give you a 1-year deal for less money. You want to have the opportunity to make the playoffs and make a run into the postseason. So I think that's the sell for me. I think he's a great fit, and personally, if he was added to this roster, I bump us up another notch. I really do. I think he's that good of a corner. With the addition of Jason Verrett and Sharice Wright, I think you have 3 guys there that could probably make an impact, although we don't know what Jason's going to do yet. I just really think it's going to be a solid cornerback core with him added.
And I think you have you have a veteran presence, but I mean a veteran who's still very good.
He's only 6 seasons in.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys that's super old and just there to mentor guys. No, he's there to make an impact.
He's a primetime player right now.
And so, I like what you said, giving him a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Because for him, it works out. He gets to showcase himself for a bigger deal.
Of course.
Whether it's with us or with someone else. But
rental.
Hey, we'll take
a 1-year rental.
We'll take a 1-year rental.
It's exciting that he is interested in visiting San Diego. I worry about overpaying for a cornerback. We learned that the hard way last season.
Mm-hmm.
We're still paying for somebody who is now playing for the Vikings. So I worry about that. My only question, I was excited. I was happy to hear that he was coming to San Diego. When he first was released, they said there's 10 teams interested, and San Diego was not one of the ones that I saw listed.
Yeah.
I first heard that he's coming to San Diego today, for a visit. My only question is, if this guy is so great, why was he released?
Cap casualty. He was.
No, I agree.
He
You know what cap casualty means, though, is it means that you're not quite good enough to earn this money.
For what they were paying him and all the guys they brought in, and I think they got to the point where they knew they were going to have to let a veteran go, and it had to be Brandon Flowers. I don't think if they could keep him, I know they would. He's that good of a player. I don't, like he said, he's still in his prime. It's like Mikey was saying. I just cap casualties. You can sway it different ways, but for me, it's just the luck of the draw. Whoops, we can't really afford you anymore. We've got these guys who've come in playing a little better. We think a guy can step up on defense and fill a hole.
Yeah.
Not going to be as good as you, but we're going to try to cover some patches here. So, I mean, coming to visit the Chargers, in my mind, first, that's a really good sign for me. He could go anywhere he wants first. He really could.
And I know the Chiefs want to sign some other defensive players.
Of course.
So that was
they have other thoughts too.
That was the main reason that I'd heard.
What about this? I mean, what we've talked about Clary this year. Mm-hmm. What if you cut Clary, and we all know maybe that might come after training camp or after preseason. We don't know yet. But if it does, and that's in the overall scheme of things with the front office, why not bring in a Flowers and pay him $6 million this year? We only have $5 million under the cap right now. You add $5 of that million that you're supposed to give to Clary this season, or whatever the cap number is.
They cut Clary. His due like 6.5, but they'll actually only save I think $4 million.
So you add that to 5. You have around 9 for cap space. You give maybe $6 million to Brandon Flowers, and you say, here's that 1-year rental, like we were talking, and. Gosh, man, that would be a great upgrade for us and really give us some confidence back there, knowing that you have a veteran playing some corner.
Well, the the biggest point of weakness on our team last year, everybody agrees, was the secondary. And I think the secondary has been put on notice. They have brought quite a few guys in there, and there's going to be some guys that can play some ball that will be playing it somewhere else because there just is not enough room.
Right.
Brandon Gee is one that they brought in who I've heard nothing but great things about so far. Now, of course, none of this matters until they play.
Right,
but,
of course.
But so far, with all that being said, so far he's been getting rave reviews. Steve Williams, excuse me.
You're okay. Stevie Johnson, I think that's who you're thinking of.
Yes, I was thinking of Stevie Johnson. I don't know why.
Right.
Steve Williams has been getting just rave reviews, I actually consider him lucky in the sense that he actually, first season, he tore his pectoral, got to sit out and just kick back and learn, so he can come in. They're going to kind of look at him as a rookie, but he's got a little bit of, I'm using my air quotes right now, mental reps.
Oh, yeah. Manti-tail.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and I think there might be actually a big name in the secondary that's cut this season. And
well, could you see a possibility? I mean, would you welcome? You don't sound too enthused about Brandon Flowers.
Well,
what's your thoughts on it? Because I've seen you elated about certain things and not. Do you think there's something wrong here that you don't want to spend too much money on one guy?
I just worry that they've for some reason, as great as Pagano is, we have not done a very good job at evaluating cornerback talent on this team. We just haven't.
Is that a product of the corners or the front seven not getting pressure because of injury?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I think if you get all your horses together, like we talked about many shows ago, up front, to apply that pressure with some additions that we think could be very good with the rookies coming in, you think the game changes a little bit for the Chargers and the secondary gets a little help this season.
Absolutely, but when your front seven gets stuffed,
exactly, and which was the case last year,
the weakness in our secondary was very much exposed.
They exploited it all the time.
And I think he's a known quantity. I think when you went with Cox last year, you were just kind of banking on the potential of what he could be. So I think if you want a guy like Brandon Flowers, who is a good, solid player that can play the cornerback position in the NFL, you're going to have to spend that extra money. And I can't remember a time when a player of this caliber came to San Diego first on his first visit.
Right. Yeah.
So that's really exciting for me.
Isn't that cool? That's what jumps. They're in Missouri. He obviously lives in Missouri.
Right.
That's a long flight out here. I mean, it's not just a hop, jump, and a skip. He could have gone anywhere, and that's pretty cool. To get your first crack at just showing him around the facilities, how beautiful of a day it was today, and he visited today. That's cool. I mean, it's all about recruiting with free agents. It really is. Yeah. What are you going to bring for me, and what are we going to offer you?
Right.
And I think overall, 1 year rental would do me just fine as a fan. I could see that happen.
And the fact that he doesn't have any other visits scheduled is very
encouraging.
Encouraging, exactly, because that makes you think, if he likes it here, he might take the deal.
Of course.
Right. So it's kind of like recruiting a high school player, You want to get him in and don't let him leave.
Right.
I wanted to bring up a good point, another point to move on, just real quick. I didn't know if anybody else had anything to touch on that one. Mike McCoy's been changing up the practices a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
He's been blaring some music at practice, hip-hop, country music, during practices, making the players feel good about themselves. Not the whole practice. He puts it in certain plays, 2-minute drills. He'll blare the music, maybe for communication.
Right.
Pretty cool, though. I guess they didn't do it last season, and Norv Turner never did it. And the players, from what I gather, are pretty excited about it. Just little nuances that a new coaching staff has, and they want to make things fresh at Chargers Park.
A little more comfortable their second season, so he can try. I know that they're really, with the offense, they're really, really focusing on tempo.
Right.
I think last year they were all still trying to learn the offense.
Yeah.
Now they're working on nuance. They're working on tempo. They're working on no huddle, which is just going to make them even more dangerous.
It's crazy, and that's the thing nobody wants to bring up. And I'm glad you said that, because that was a first year under Mike McCoy's new system, and Phillip Rivers ran it flawlessly almost.
Yeah.
He went to the line. He saw what the defense was presenting. He picked them apart most of the season. He couldn't have played it better. And with another year and off season to tinker with that, man, I mean, I'm so excited for this season. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now Nick Hardwick, I got a little bit banged up. What is it? A foot injury, I think it was.
Yes, it was.
They say he should be ready for when training camp actually starts. So that's good news. You certainly don't want to lose him. I think that's all we're going to do. We're going to do this week. I want to next week, like I had said before, I had spoke to Darren. He's a regular contributor. He said he's going to be in studio, a.k.a. my dining room.
Nice. What a lovely dining room it is.
Yes. And he had a game he wanted to play called Would You Rather. It's pretty interesting.
Pretty sweet.
We
I've
have
played
some
that
stuff
before.
written down.
Yeah, that was with
In
beer
school.
bottles
Yeah.
and
In high
stuff.
school,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you
This
rather?
is a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. You don't use
yeah.
cards or anything?
No, there's no girls going to be here?
Oh.
Just
his wife and daughter,
Oh, no,
but they're
no,
not
no.
going to be involved.
Okay.
As soon as we all get here, they leave, though.
Right.
If you
Got
guys
it.
have
Exactly.
noticed.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about that. I want to invite everybody. I know a lot of people are watching the Tony Gwynn memorial on TV tonight, but I do want to invite everybody, let you know, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we are on live. You come to SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. Check us out. We are updating every day. We have new content.
Constantly.
We have listener articles on there. Mike is always putting up really, really interesting articles.
Yeah, and get ready for a bombardment of articles coming up.
And forums,
Yeah.
Join the forums, live chat during games.
Live chat during the Padre games,
kind of
especially
fun.
right now when they're really struggling. It's been a really rough patch for them right now. I think Mike was saying they have 3 wins this month.
Yeah, 3 wins this month. It's been
They
a
have,
rough patch called the season.
So
The entire
The
season.
2014 Major League Baseball season.
Bad
it
news,
gives us
Padres.
something.
Bad patch.
It gives us something to talk about in the
Right.
chat room. When things are going bad, it makes the game a little bit more enjoyable. Of course, check us out. You can like us on Spreaker. You can download our podcast
Yes.
on iTunes.
Take it with you. I know we're not that exciting, but hey, when you're sitting on the treadmill or something or running around, just play us, man. It'd be fun.
Absolutely.
Also, for forums and everything, I wanted to hit on that again. We do a live forum segment with the Padres. Well, we also do other things, live events. So maybe you want to throw in a World Cup. You can go there and start your own threads as members.
Yes.
Definitely sign up, make an avatar. Just wanted to thank you guys for watching us, listening to us, participating on our website. Contributing, and also thank Mikey for his hard work again.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for Josh for nothing. And have a great afternoon.
Thanks to Tiffany for
in
taking
Hawaii.
Josh.
Yeah, exactly. Getting him out of here for 2 weeks is just. We're gonna throw a party after this.
Right.
We have a 12-pack chilling. So just wanted to thank all you junkies out there and visit us SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com again. For me, my last regards. Rest in peace, Tony. We love you. Our hearts are very, very heavy, and we'll always remember.
Absolutely, and congratulations once again to Josh and Tiffany. We will see you guys again next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for following the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. With Josh Taylor, Justin Smeed, and Jason Eitzmo, we want you to subscribe to us on iTunes, follow us on Spreaker, and like us on Facebook. Also visit our website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. This is brought to you by SK Digital Imaging and SDforlife.net. San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans.